Hello and welcome to the Broadcast Newswrap, tackling the most important TV topics of the day. Two landmark disability reports are about to be unveiled, demonstrating the shocking levels of abuse, discrimination and ableism faced by the UK's largest minority group. DDPTV's Caroline O'Neill, who was heavily involved in the creation of one such report, joins us first to set out the key findings, before we have an exclusive interview with Tim Renkow, the creator and star of BBC Three hit comedy Jerk. All that, plus much more, on this week's Broadcast Newswrap. So, the landmark Disability by Design report came out this week, and one of those central to its creation, the founder of Deaf and Disabled People in TV, Caroline O'Neill, joins the podcast once again to talk through the findings. So Caroline, can you tell us a bit about the report and how you went about putting it together?
Hi Max, thank you so much for having me again. Really, working with DDPT and working with VEC2 and Equity at the moment, so we've created it all together. Shari and I guided the questions, and it was really important that we wanted to make sure that the language actually was representative of the social model of disability. And I think the survey took time, and it was launched earlier this year, and it was open for a period of a month, and it had good engagement. We're currently in the process of making it look pretty, and then we will send that out to other broadcasters and other key players so they're able to use that for campaigning later in the year.
And what does it tell us about TV's relationship with disability?
The thing is, there weren't any big surprises. So reading it back actually just did make me feel sick. It almost felt like there were a lot of disability people that weren't feeling safe to actually disclose their disability. And I feel that it's a shame that people out there who have invisible disabilities are masking that part of their identity. And through masking it, it sometimes also aggravates and makes their disability worse and causes suffering. I feel that, is that what you want to be a representative of the industry that we work in? However, there is a positive side to it. When employers do actually want to engage, it is actually possible to achieve the optimum environment where people who are disabled and non-disabled people can work together and make amazing content. And really the thing is, there aren't many disability people. It's not the problem that is with disability people, it's the employers that are the problem.
No, completely. So some of the, like you mentioned, some of the anecdote, mostly relating to bullying within the TV industry, were really quite shocking. I suppose I wanted to know if you were surprised by these, and if you were surprised also by the fact of one of the findings that 1/4 of respondents had faced bullying or harassment.
For me, I wasn't that surprised myself, because I've been on the receiving end of bullying. And I think when I look at a lot of disabled people out there, they have been. And the survey presented us with 60% of those people have faced ableism and also some form of disabled harassment. For me, the work of the Coalition for Change, we're working on trying to actually solve those issues and problems. So what we need are people who aren't reporting seriously enough or are naive about what bullying actually looks like and when it's related to having a disability. Some people think it's okay just to put up with that, but it's also linked to not really knowing how serious things are, and it needs a massive attitude change. If you don't take it seriously, it means disabled people will be seen and heard and seen as that they can actually have the ability to speak up. So people of that identity need to speak up.
And what sort of work are you doing to try and overcome the bullying issues? Is that all about education?
I think that there's a lot of underrepresented groups. And so I think on screen, on TV, so disabled people aren't represented well. So for example, a lot of the time it follows the charity model or maybe the medical model, where disabled people need to be cured, they need to be saved, they need to be helped, they need to be kind on TV and kind to disabled people. And that's a massive part of the problem. So it's related to the tone and the social attitudes that are established. Socially, really, it's not just generally, but it's on TV and also on the talent that's on TV. That is the issue.
Yeah, no, I see. And it's very complicated, isn't it? I was struck by one of the quotes in the report. It's at the beginning. It's in the introduction, and it describes the 25 years since the passing of the Disability Discrimination Act as being a sort of Groundhog Day for the industry. I thought that was a really powerful quote. Would you be able to elaborate on the quote?
The Disability Discrimination Act has actually become the Equality Act 2010, and in theory that should really protect people who are from underrepresented groups. So it means it protects, in a sense. The Act is a law that protects individuals' rights. However, whether it works or not, there's still a massive question mark hanging over that, because we don't see that happening. And also, if you think about whether employers are actually aware of the Equality Act 2010 and are they aware of their legal obligations to that? So there's a massive moment now that happened that should protect us, and it doesn't. And again, that's what I mean by Groundhog Day. So the conversations that we keep happening are linked to disability rights. So every 5 to 10 years, we seem to be having the same conversation that keeps happening again about what are the ideas where we can solve the problem. But at the end of the day, there never seems to be a solution. And change needs to happen now. And that's what we're talking about. And it's focused on the action.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And that's a really strong explanation. There were some positive signs in the report. There's a small section entitled Getting It Right. So who is getting it right, and what's an example of some good behaviour in the TV industry around this?
I think now that disabled people in the industry are being a bit more open and a bit more comfortable discussing the access needs or reasonable adjustments, and when it actually comes to having that experience and years of what people need when they're in the industry, therefore feeling comfortable, and they're able to argue back and say, actually, we know who we are, I know what my access requirements are, but that actually comes from inner strength that an individual has, and that does take time to arrive at. But we do know that it's happening there. So I'm hoping that what we can do is look more to senior individuals within the industry as role models, and that can reflect that. But I think that actually there is a shift happening. It's taking time, and it will take time, but it is shifting.
And what next? The report has come out, and I know that the Creative Diversity Network has done a similar report with similar big survey and qualitative response and all of that. So what are the next steps now these reports are out there, and can we move past that Groundhog Day feeling that the report mentions?
We always recommend creating diverse network, and CDN have really, we constantly quote them. So they've done a lot of work. So they've used our report. So we constantly look to Creative Diversity Network, and we quote their reports all the time and reference back to them because they've done amazing work. So what we do is use our report as a part of informing the Coalition for Change, and also back in July in the meeting that we had. And as a part of that, we actually made 3 key recommendations to the broadcasters, showing that we have shouldn't really be sitting there and sitting on our laurels. We have a lot of work coming up that we need to do. So 4 of us within DDPTV are volunteers, and we know that we want to change things, that things aren't working. But what they need to do, individuals need to listen to people from the grassroots who've had their experience, and that's what we're doing. So we keep pushing. We're not done just quite.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing much more from you. And before I finish, we always like to ask our guests what they've been watching on TV. But I thought you might be able to give our listeners 1 or 2 examples of some really great content that's been created by or is featuring disabled people that's out there at the moment?
Well, at the moment, there's a massive 2 factual dramas at the moment, currently on at the BBC. So, co-director is Bryony, who she's involved. She's producing it, and it's also called Independence Day, and it's based on Disability Discrimination Act. And that is phenomenal. And there's so many disabled people involved in that. And I've seen photos of my friends and colleagues, so I think it's going to be really exciting. And also we have people working on EastEnders. We've got people working on the Grand Designs, Garden, Made Perfect, Love Island, Naked Attraction. We're everywhere.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching Independence Day. I remember writing about it a little while ago, and it sounds like a really great show. Look, Caroline, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and explaining a little bit more about this report. And that should be available soon for everybody who is keen to read it and attempt to work harder to make these changes. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
One TV show from a disabled creative to have made waves over the past couple of years is BBC Three comedy Jerk, about a man with cerebral palsy who tries to use his condition to his advantage. Creator and star Tim Renkow, who was born in New Mexico, spoke to Hannah Bowler earlier this month about the second series of Roughcut TV's hit and opportunities for disabled talent across the pond.
Series 2 definitely, I think and I hope, pushes the envelope a little further. Series 1, we were just kind of seeing if we could get away with it. And now that we know we can, Series 2, I think we notched it up. At least 1 gear, but hopefully a couple gears.
So a little bit darker, a little bit more black comedy to expect.
I think so.
Has there been any pressure on Series 2? Because I always do feel quite stressed for creators that have to kind of replicate the success. How have you managed that?
So I think there would have been if COVID hadn't happened. I think it would have felt more pressure, but because the first lockdown happened like 2 weeks before we were supposed to shoot. So I think, at least for me, I've been so concentrated on COVID and when it's actually gonna be able to shoot that I haven't really thought about the pressure of second season.
Just all consumed with just getting the shoot happening, took over all other feelings.
Yeah.
Did you have to write it in lockdown, or had it been written before COVID?
So that was the frustrating thing, because we wrote most of it before. Like, if we were writing it in lockdown, at least there would have been something to do.
Have you been writing at the moment? Like, how have you been managing lockdowns and writing new projects or working on new projects?
So yeah, I've been working on a comic book with the guy that did all the illustrations for Jerk season 1. So
that's really fun. A comic book.
That I've been doing, yeah.
Has it been like, have you been able to get creative juices flowing a little bit better, just kind of like stuck with nothing to do?
Yeah, I think so. And it's more that it was kind of nice just having the time to do it. It's been an idea that's been circulating in my head. I never had time, and then suddenly I had all the time.
As a kind of writer-creator, I always am quite interested in the actual like process. Like, I don't know if you could like walk me through how you get up and start your day and get into it, and what kind of processes do you use?
So what I usually do is I get up at about 8, because that's when my wife gets up for work. and then I convince myself that I'm too tired to write, so I need to watch an episode of Hell's Kitchen. And then I watch about 5 episodes of Hell's Kitchen and go out to lunch. And then I start writing at maybe 5 p.m.
I'm kind of the same. Like everything always gets going in the evening. You just push it back until you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
How much inspiration do you take from Hell's Kitchen though? Because surely that's quite he's got some lines.
Not enough. I think you can always do more with Hell's Kitchen.
He's one of the great comedic talents of
so
non-comedy. So back to Jerk. So it's a BBC Three series. What's it been like to work with the BBC on the project? Like, how much freedom do you have? How fun is it to work with them? Are you restricted in any way?
It's been good because they're paying me. No, it's been good. Sincerely, it's been good. I don't think there's been any situations really where I feel constrained by them, which is like, it's great, but it's also kind of disappointing because you do want to be able to be like, they're ruining my dream, but they're not. They've been great. Yeah, they've been super supportive. It's probably nice to be BBC Three just because you can get away with a little more. No, it's been good. It's been a dream.
Are there any other kind of broadcasters or streamers, or is there anywhere else that you see your comedy fitting? Because you were saying BBC Three can go a bit darker. Is there any other like channels that you kind of see yourself as a good fit?
So my goal is to, I'm not even sure you have it here, but there's a station in America called Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, love Adult Swim.
Yeah, where like Rick and Morty comes from, but like Aqua Teen Hunger person. Like I'm a huge cartoon guy. Like that's kind of the dream, is to write cartoons, because like I studied illustration before comedy, so I think they have. I mean, they're what I grew up watching. They're kind of how I learned comedy. Like, they're the biggest influences on my comedy, just as a channel. So that's the dream.
So an Adult Swim animation would be your ultimate dream goal. All right, nice. Yeah. How does that fit into the UK? Do you find like you have the opportunity to make, because adult animation is just not really a thing here. Do you think you could make it a thing in the UK, or it's not the space for it?
I think so. You guys had some amazing studios. Like I mean, like, I'm gonna probably get too esoteric, but like a lot of the indie stuff coming out of here is really, really cool and interesting. So I think even though it might not be shown here as much, the people producing cartoons over here are really some of the top guys.
Moving away from animation, what do you kind of see as the comedy landscape in the UK? Is there lots of opportunities right now? And kind of who are your biggest kind of, who you're looking to that's really creating some great stuff at the moment?
There's a lot of good stuff coming out of the stand-up. Man Like Mobeen is excellent. It's just, there's a ton of excellent stuff coming out. A lot of it on BBC Three, actually, which is kind of all I watch. So, like, I've really been enjoying Aquafina's new show, which I think is British even.
Moving on, I was going to ask what you've kind of got on your plate at the moment? What's on your agenda? Are you in with the other broadcasters? Have you got anything in development, or are you just focusing on the comic book for the moment?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to other broadcasters, and I got some stuff in development. None of which I can talk about, I think, which is annoying.
It's all right. As a journalist, I always get that, so you're fine.
Stands for breaks. It's been great. It's very busy at the moment, which is good.
Do you feel quite sought after? Is that not the thing?
Yeah, I guess I do. I feel like, yeah, it's weird feelings. I never thought I'd be here, so I do feel sought after. Actually sought over after. Oh, that's just my pure narcissism talking. I don't know, but it has been very gratifying to be able to talk to so many people that I'm like, oh, they know who I am. That's crazy.
You have to lap it up when it's there, though, really, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to sit back and enjoy it and just be like, I'm going to be egotistical because I did this.
I did this, yeah.
So what's been your experience kind of in the UK as a disabled creative? Have you run into any challenges, or has it been like, just talk me through that as coming over from America? When did you move over here, actually?
I moved over here almost exactly 10 years ago. I think I moved over here 11 years ago in 10 months.
Cool. So yeah, what's the experience been like for you?
It's been good. I mean, you have a very good country for disabled people compared to America. Like the access and being able to get places has been good. Which really helps, like amazingly helps when you're not stuck in one place. I think the disabled autistic community is relatively, I think, very strong. Somebody might come across and be like, no, actually we're bad and we need more. Which might be, but compared to America, it's just so much easier to get your stuff out there and seen, I've found.
So you think the opportunities are pretty strong at the moment? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. At least compared to America.
Do you think there's anything that the UK production could be doing better? Like, is there any areas that's worth just putting in a bit more time?
I mean, of course, it can always be better. I mean, personally, I would like to see more disabled people. I mean, really, probably all minorities, but I can only talk to disabled people. There's been a really nice push to get them in front of camera, which is great. Of course, I'm not trying to take away anything for that, but I would like more behind the scenes stuff from minorities, because I personally think that's where the actual storytelling gets made in a way where so I guess just more behind the scenes stuff, a bigger push for that. It's even better than when I started 10 years ago. Like, it is definitely moving in the right direction.
That's really positive to hear. Do you have any advice for kind of young creators that want to get in? Because obviously you're a creator, like writer, actor, all of those things. Do you kind of have any advice to young people that kind of want to be a creative?
just kind of do it, I guess. Also, I would recommend if you're very young and you want to be an artist, I would recommend, because I did art school and then creative writing, I would actually recommend studying psychology rather than art, because art, you just need to do it to get better, but one of the most important things is to know, like, how people think. So, yeah, I'd say if you want to be an artist, study people.
I love that. That's so true. I've not even really thought of that. But it is just character building, right? So it's understanding human nature and the human mind.
Yeah.
I love that. While I have you, so each time we have a guest on, we do a kind of what you've been watching segment. So, Tim, what have you been watching lately?
Hell's Kitchen.
Apart from Hell's Kitchen aside. And you can't have the spin-offs either.
Okay. I've been watching a lot of Archer, Lovecraft Country, which is amazing. God, you took away all my cooking shows, which is really what I do. But Archer, my wife and I just started Unorthodox on Netflix, which is really interesting.
It's incredible. That was like one of my favorite things that came out last year. Blew my mind.
No, it's insane what you did is just nuts. So that's been great. RuPaul's Drag Race.
I like the transition of RuPaul's Drag Race to Unorthodox.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah. I watched a lot of just all the cartoons, I guess.
Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. It was really lovely talking through. And I'm very excited for Jerk to launch. When series 2 due to hit?
August 1st,
Great. Well, all of our listeners, please go and watch because it's a brilliant show and Tim is excellent in it. So thank you so much for joining me. It's nice to have you.
To have you.
Thank you for listening to the Broadcast Newswrap. I'm Max Goldbart, and you've been listening to DDPTV founder Caroline O'Neill and Tim Renkow in conversation with Hannah Bowler. You can check out all 53 past episodes of the pod on Spotify and iTunes, or on the website via www.broadcastnow.co.uk. We're taking a break for the summer, but we'll be back towards the end of August for an Edinburgh Television Festival special. Join us then.